Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. The Election Commission begins registration of Nepali nationals abroad to exercise their voting franchise. Says they will be able to vote in the proportionate category of the lower house in first phase. Parliamentarians criticize the government, alleging it of remaining indifferent towards management of disaster victims. Demand improvement in education sector, referring to SEE results. One person reported dead after the roof of a terminal at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi collapses. 8 others reported injured. And South Africa to take on India at the grand finale of the ICC 2020 Men's Cricket World Cup slated for tomorrow. South Africa aiming to create history with their first ever World Cup, India for its second. The Election Commission has said that procedures for registration of names of Nepali nationals stationed abroad to exercise their franchise have begun, and has added that they would be able to cast their ballot in the proportionate category of the House of Representatives in the first phase. At a program organized in Kathmandu today, Chief Election Commissioner Dinesh Thapalia said that registration of names of Nepali nationals stationed at 6 Gulf nations, including Malaysia, had begun for the voters' name list. He went on to add that the working procedure was in the stage of being approved following several rounds of talks with political parties. Chief Election Commissioner Thapalia said that the registration of names for the voters' name list would be eased with the support from the government and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Parliamentarians have criticized the government at the meeting of House of Representatives, alleging it of remaining indifferent towards management of the disaster victims. At today's meeting of the lower house held at the Parliament building in New Baneshore, Nepali Congress lawmaker Tejulal Chaudhary criticized the government, saying it had not paid attention towards disaster management despite the increasing impact of monsoon across the country. Rashtriya Prajatantra Party's lawmaker Gyan Bahadur Shahi drew the government attention towards reviving the national economy. In relation to the result of secondary education examination, lawmakers said that most students had failed in mathematics and identified the need for arrangement of specialized teachers for mathematics, science and English to ensure improvement in the education sector. At the meeting, lawmakers had also raised issues related to their respective electoral constituencies and topics of national affairs. Next meeting of the House of Representatives is slated for Sunday. According to the Office of the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers, Madhya Province Chief Minister Satish Singh has made preparations to seek the vote of confidence on 5th of July. Based on the requirement of the Article 168 of the Constitution of Nepal, vote of confidence must be generated within 30 days of appointment as the Chief Minister. Based on the provision, Chief Minister Singh is required to generate the trust vote within 6th of July. After the former Chief Minister Saroj Yadav had failed to generate vote of confidence from the Provincial Assembly, Singh was appointed the Chief Minister with the backing of the majority Province Assembly members. Province Governor Sumitra Bhandari had appointed Singh of Janamat Party as the Chief Minister on 7th of June. Singh requires the support of 54 Province Assembly members to remain in the government. While furnishing the majority support at the office of the Province Governor, Singh had claimed the support of 55 Provincial Assembly members. The current Madhya Province government was formed with the alliance of 6 parties, which includes 24 Provincial Assembly members of CPN UML, 9 of CPN Maoist Centre, 13 of Janamat, 7 from CPN Unified Socialist and 1 each from Rashtriya Prajatantra Party and Nepal Sanghiya Samajwadi. Now, following the increase in water level in Saptakoshi River, repair works of the spur in the eastern embankment have been expedited. Rising floodwaters in the swollen Saptakoshi River have started eroding the spurs, structures meant to protect riverbanks and main embankments by deflecting the currents away from riversides. The increased flow of water in the rain-swollen river has added pressure on the spurs. Therefore, considering the risk of the embankment suffering further damages, repair works of the spur has been expedited. Increase in water level because of the rainfall in the past few days is likely to erode the western and eastern sections. The Indian side has given continuity to strengthen the embankment with sacks of sand in those parts. Sacks of soil and sand have also been prepared for other spurs at the northern part of Koshi Tapu Wildlife Reserve that are likely to be eroded with the increase in pressure caused by the rise in water level. Based on the Koshi Agreement, the Government of India has been conducting required works for the control of flood in Saptakoshi River area through Ganga Flood Control Commission since the year 2011. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has reiterated that procedure for unity of leftist forces has begun. At a program organized at the official residence of the Prime Minister in Balwatar, Premier Dahal said that process for unification of leftist forces had started. He also expected support from all stakeholders to ensure the successful unification. Premier Dahal said that all entities had to make efforts to create hope among the public by dissecting the current negative narrative. He also claimed that the government was making efforts to institutionalize the achievements of revolutions and transformations to create a solid foundation for socialism. Prime Minister Dahal said that support of all progressive forces was required in this effort of the government. A criminal case has been filed against 3 individuals, including the publisher of Sidakura.com. A YouTube channel named Sidakura.com had produced and broadcast content named Dark File, where it had alleged individuals, including the erstwhile senior Supreme Court Justice Ananda Mohan Bhattarai, of receiving bribe to resolve cases related to sting operations conducted by the Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority. On the case filed against the audio played in the YouTube video terming it fake, the Supreme Court had ordered to investigate the matter under criminal offence. Based on the order, police has conducted required investigations and has filed cases against publisher of Sidakura, Yuvraj Kadel, editor Naveen Dhungana and Rajkumar Timalsina, who is alleged of producing the fake audio at the District Court, Kathmandu. The District Government Attorney Office, Kathmandu, has included the 3 individuals as defendants on the basis of the report of investigation conducted by the police. Sidakura had broadcast the video with the audio, which included the names of senior advocates, justices, journalists and publishers on 26th of May. Contempt of court case is also under consideration regarding the same issue at the Supreme Court. Moving on, the Madhya Province government has kicked off a One Person, One Plant campaign on the occasion of National Tree Plantation Day, under which plantations were carried out in all 8 districts of the province. The program, organized by Division Forest Office Dhanusha, was inaugurated by Minister of Forest and Environment for Madhya Province, Tribhuvan Sa. Under the program, saplings were planted near the Janakpur-Jatahi 6-lane road section. The Ministry for Forest and Environment of Madhya Province has aimed at planting 6.5 million saplings under the One Person, One Plant campaign. Minister Shah said the ministry would ensure the protection of the saplings. Secretary Uddhav Khimere said 150,000 saplings had been planted along 101 hectares of land in Madhya Province. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what do you term the General Secretary of Rashtra Swatantra Party furnishing a report stating the downfall of the party? Your options are A, correct assessment, B, planting disputes, and C, interest-driven statement. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It is time now for international update. One person has died when the roof of Terminal 1 collapsed at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi, the capital of India. 8 others are reported to be injured. It is said that the roof of the airport collapsed due to the heavy rain that occurred this morning. In addition, it is reported that many vehicles parked near Terminal Number 1 were also destroyed and turned into debris. The beam of the terminal fell on the vehicles parked in there. Efforts are being made to evacuate the stranded passengers at Terminal 1, while most of the flights till 2 a.m. have been cancelled for the time being. Some airlines have already announced that they have cancelled flights till midnight. It is said that most of the roads in Delhi have been disrupted due to heavy rains that have come under continuous record-breaking summer. According to the Department of Meteorology, there will be blackouts for the next 7 days along with rain and heavy winds. Delhi received about 228 millimeters of rainfall today. Due to heavy rains, the Delhi government has called an emergency meeting according to local time. Due to the rain since this morning, Delhi has also faced electricity problems. It is said that electricity has been cut off due to water entering the power stations. Now, U.S. President Joe Biden and Donald Trump squared off in the first debate of the 2024 U.S. presidential race, seeking to pull ahead in a matchup that has so far been in a dead heat. But despite delivering the opening salvo in Thursday's event, Biden struggled to articulate his points at several moments, appearing to fumble for his words. Meanwhile, Trump took the opportunity to redirect the conversation at several points to Biden's perceived weaknesses, drumming up fears about immigration and the state of the economy.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Democratic U.S. President Joe Biden and his Republican rival, Donald Trump, took the stage on Thursday night for a debate that offered voters a rare side-by-side look at the two oldest candidates ever to seek the U.S. presidency. The early-going favored Trump, the 78-year-old former U.S. president, who appeared forceful and energetic when compared to the 81-year-old Biden, who spoke in a hoarse, halting voice and offered sometimes meandering replies or trailed off during his answers to several questions.
They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
The White House said the president was suffering from a cold, but only after Biden turned in a fitful performance in the opening minutes of the debate. The animosity between the candidates frequently spilled into the open as the two men got personal, each suggesting the other was a criminal.
The crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things?
The bad blood was on display from the start when they eschewed the traditional handshake and did not acknowledge each other when they walked onto the stage.
I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country.
There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
Both candidates tried to defend their performance on the key issue of the race for the voters, which is the economy. It is a tricky issue for Biden as an incumbent presiding over the economy at a time when voters are angry over higher food and gas prices.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929.
The ex-president, he said, left him a terrible economy. He said he was working to bring down inflation. Trump replied that inflation was absolutely killing them and accused Biden of doing nothing. Biden also seemed to lose his train of thought while responding to a question about the national debt. The two men showed the distinctions of the two Americas in which they live. Trump repeatedly talked about how the U.S. had failed, how Biden was the worst president in the country's history, and how the world views the country dismally now. Biden disagreed, offering an optimistic view of the U.S. on the world stage. The second presidential debate is scheduled for Tuesday, 10th of September. Back home, Lumbini and Bagmati province have progressed to the final of the girls category of the Under-19 girls and boys volleyball tournament. In the first semi-final played at the covered hall of the National Sports Council at Tripureshwar, Lumbini saw off Gandaki. Despite putting up a challenge in the first set, Gandaki lost the first set 27-25. Lumbini continued their momentum and won the next two sets 25-12 and 25-20. In another semi-final played, Today itself, Bagmati province secured a convincing win over Koshi. Bagmati won in straight sets of 25-18, 25-6 and 25-9. The tournament final is slated for tomorrow. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Coming up next is the ICC T20 World Cup special with Prarambha and Vinay. Stay with us.